Yes, yes, yes. We are live. Hello, Facebook. How are you today? Good morning. It's Trish Carr with Women's Prosperity Network. I am so excited to be here with you today. We are on the Sister to Sister show, and I'm here with my guest who you are going to love, love, love. So, this is a really interesting conversation, and Charlotte is here to share her experience and to have a real frank conversation around racism. And I invite you to get a cup of coffee. That's what I do. Get my cup of coffee, and I have a sister conversation with my friend. And join us. We're going to be here for a few minutes, just having a conversation that's meant to open hearts and open minds. So if you would, go ahead and click that share button and get people watching, because this is a frank conversation that has to be had. And it's really something that makes a difference by opening up and listening to someone who experiences racism and just looking at what's happening for each individual who's experiencing it. So let me go ahead and get started with everybody. It's Trish Carr from Women's Prosperity Network, and it is my pleasure to be here with Charlotte Terrell today. And Charlotte is in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful place to be.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to be. But I do know that, were you there when Katrina hit?
I was not. I had come here to visit family for a party, so I always blame us for Katrina.
Oh,
that was a pretty wild party.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild party.
I was living in Birmingham actually at the time, and so it was pretty traumatic because I had people that were family and friends that were on the roof or just trying to survive. They were powerless for a while, and it was awful.
Yeah, but it's 15 years now.
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago already. Yeah. It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but yeah, it's been a long time. Well, I'm glad that you are safe and you're in a great place.
Yes.
And, Charlotte and I are going to have a conversation about her experience. And, just for the 5 minutes we've had a chance to chat before we got here, it was a really lively conversation. So let me tell you really quickly about Charlotte. First of all, she's on a mission to show people how to discover or rediscover their power, their peace, and their happiness. Yes. And her background is clinical therapy, but she took that to the next level. And she is a transformational coach, a speaker, and an author. And she's about evoking changes that positively impact your life. And she's worked with hundreds and hundreds of people. She's authentic. I already know this about her. She's authentic, insightful. She's wise. She's funny. Love that. And she's the author of a couple of books. One of them is a children's book, which is called A Walk in the Water. And then she has another one that's coming up. In fact, let's start talking about that one, because you mentioned to me it's called Smile, Don't Frown.
Yes.
And it's a conversation about the stereotype of the angry Black woman.
Yes, yes. And it really, I'm writing it with a good friend of mine who is an educator, and she lives in the Atlanta, Georgia area, Denzella Watts, and she's supposed to be on here, so I hope she is. If not, I'm talking to somebody that's not there. However, we decided that we wanted to actually have a conversation where we were educating people on our plight as African-American women. As women in general, we're already expected to be superwoman, to know everything, to do everything, and then do it with a smile. But the smile don't frown concept just speaks to us not being viewed as angry. We're not angry. We've been through some things. We may be hurting. We may be overcoming. We may be strong, but it's not that we're angry. So, just taking away that whole notion of us being angry Black women who just want to mess up people's lives and crash down on the party and come in with a frown and tear up stuff. That's just not who we are as a general whole. We are just people that want to be heard and we want to be understood.
Yeah, that whole stereotype. First of all, let's talk about men. Like, who are the serial killers?
Hmm.
Who are the people who are making, doing the violent things?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you look around, it's who's raping people. And I'm not saying that's all men. Let me be clear. I love my men's. I love all my men's.
Hmm.
But when you look at where gun violence, men. So why are women always pointed out as angry? White, black, and the
Yeah.
angry black woman. So
Right.
I'm with you there. Whenever we as women express ourselves, we're
Yes.
considered angry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, men
Yeah.
walk around angry all the time.
Right. Right. And if we are decisive, then we are the B word. Well, it's not that I'm a B word. I just know what I want, and I'm going to get it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 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 So when's that book coming out?
We are hoping to be able to launch it within the next few months. I'm thinking June-ish.
And
So
it
I'll keep you posted.
and it's meant for people to understand that that is a true stereotype and it's not true. And
Yes.
at the same time, educate people, especially people with my peach colored skin,
Yes.
that what the reality is
Right.
so that we can understand.
Right. And
Yeah.
also designed to heal us as African American women. It also will play a role in providing steps to how we heal as women and how we heal in being perceived as women who are not learned in how to get along with each other or the world around them. So just a healing tool for us as well.
Well, and that's good, perfect with your skills and your talents
I,
because
I hope
we're
it's a
all
success.
about
It will be.
communication,
Yes.
improving people's lives.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a time for this conversation about angry black woman.
Yes.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's time
Yeah.
because I don't remember who said it, but there's a quote about the that black women are the most underserved demographic in the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
Truly, it is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So I'm looking forward to the book. That's really
Yes.
good.
I'll keep
Really
you
good.
posted, Trish, and let you know and let our network know when it's ready to launch so you can
Yeah,
take a look.
absolutely. That would be great.
Yeah.
And when you were talking, when you were sharing with me about what's happening, so you're in Mississippi,
Yes.
and Mississippi is one of the places that is one of the last to get the message about racism. Like it was
Yes.
the last state to get their flag changed, to
Right.
remove the rebel flag from
Mhm.
the Mississippi state flag. What is it now? You said it's a
It's
magnolia?
a magnolia, beautiful,
Beautiful.
the beautiful flower. Yes, yes. And it's actually very attractive to the eye. So I don't know why they didn't want that all along. Well, we know why they didn't want that all
Well,
along,
right.
but
It's a heritage thing.
yes,
I
right,
know.
right, right.
I know. And listen, it's just a matter of getting through to people to understand that it may be your heritage, but it's offensive to
Yes.
people.
It's hurtful.
It's hurtful to
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
And even if you don't agree, that's the thing. Well, I don't agree that, that it should be removed. Listen, if it hurts a person, if it hurts an individual,
Hmm.
it's got to be removed. You can,
Right,
and it's not just one individual, it hurts an entire
right.
race of people. So I'm so happy to see it go. I was just telling you a story that when I worked at what's now AT&T, I worked in Atlanta and it was Bell South at the time. So
Hmm.
this was in the 1990s while you were in college
Hmm.
at Kentucky State, right? That's
Yes.
where you were.
Hmm.
And that was Kentucky was one of our states at the time.
Okay.
They put in they spent, I'm telling you, thousands and thousands of dollars to put in flagpole holders in front of the big AT&T building in Atlanta because they wanted to show all the 9 states that they cover.
Hmm.
And they put the flags up and they were up for one day because every one of them had a rebel flag in them at the time. And I'm happy to say, while I lived in Georgia, the flag was changed. And now all the flags have been changed,
Yes.
Mississippi being the last. So that's a wonderful thing. But yeah, it's just, we've come a long way, haven't we? And
Yes.
we still have a
Have a
ways to
long
go.
ways to go. Right. Because I think I talked with Stephanie about when I was doing in-home therapy when I first moved to Gulfport and going into homes where people were wearing the rebel flag t-shirts. Just like, okay, well, fine. I won't have it waving around outside my front door,
Mm,
but I'll wear the t-shirt and let you know where I stand. And I'm not afraid to let you know that. And so I unapologetically let them know where I stood and wound up leaving the position because I just didn't feel that it was a fit for me and it wasn't what I stood for. So I left and I just decided I'll do therapy, but I won't do it with them.
what? And then you were telling me about your husband's high school. So your husband grew up there, yes?
Yes,
And
he
he went
grew
to,
up in Cleveland, Mississippi, in the Delta.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. All right,
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
Gulfport, Gulfport being on the coast, it has probably a mixed group of people from
Hmm.
different places and different
Hmm.
cultures.
Yeah.
So while it is the South, it's not like being in the Delta.
Right. It's a little more progressive in that it's the alleged big city of Mississippi. Jackson
Right.
and Gulfport, Biloxi, those are like the big cities in the Mississippi region.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they are pretty progressive. But his city, his high school just integrated. When we got the news, it was about 2 years ago now that I mean it was in the newspaper and everything that they had integrated his high school. So just the mere idea that they didn't even feel it necessary to integrate the school until now is just it speaks volumes.
Well, we're talking 2020, 2019, right?
Yeah,
2019.
right,
The school was integrated in 2019.
right,
It's
right,
mind-boggling.
right.
And isn't it great that it was done? Yay.
Yes,
It shows that
yes,
there's a progression.
right,
And that's what
right,
we need to see is a progression. The other
right.
thing you mentioned to me about your husband is that he is a chef, which is
Yes,
also a minority in chefs, male African American. He's African American, yes?
yes, yes. He's African American. He's from Mississippi, so he's got that good down home cooking,
I'll
but
bet.
he's also got the gourmet training because he went to Le Cordon Bleu
Mm,
and graduated, and he's been under numerous chefs in the big hotel industries so that he could get that gourmet food training. So, I could get anything from oysters Rockefeller to fried chicken wings. I mean, I'm a chicken wing girl personally, but he does all this fancy stuff. He wants it to be real pretty and all that. I'm just like, I don't need all that, but thank you.
yeah, no, it's
But
probably what's your favorite dish that he makes?
I really don't have a favorite. I just feel like I was telling my mom just the other day. I said, Mom, when I'm eating, because I'll eat out, I'll eat fast food and stuff sometimes, grab something, or I'll have something that, I got from a restaurant. But it just seems like my body and my whole life is turned right side up when I eat his food. I don't feel
Mhm.
any kind of sickness or indigestion. It's just his food is maybe it's his love that he cooks with
Mhm. Yep.
because he loves to cook and he loves me. So, I mean, I don't know if it's that, but it just, everything is good.
That's
Everything is
nice. That's
enjoyable.
really great.
Yeah, but don't tell him I said that, please. And I hope
No,
he's
no,
not
no. And
watching.
he'll never know.
It's just showing for
Thousands,
thousands of people.
yeah, well, thousands of people won't share it with him, I'm sure.
Right?
You're safe. You're
But
safe.
he is the first African American chef in his facility. He works in a nursing home, and he's the first African American chef there. And when he started, he just started. I'll just come in and help. I don't, they didn't have a position open for him at the time, but he said, I'll just help in the kitchen. And then, like maybe a month later, they said, we need you to take over. And
Oh,
he
wow.
said, are you serious? And he's been running the kitchen ever since. And the food is good. The people just really enjoy his food because, like I said, he does cook with love, and he makes sure that his staff is cooking with love. Because sometimes in senior facilities, that's really the only thing that they have control over.
Yeah.
a good meal and they feel happy and they feel like somebody cares and appreciates them. So he loves it. He absolutely loves it, and they love him.
Well, and he got you to Gulfport, which is a great place to live. But you grew up in
Yes,
Michigan.
I did. I did. And the racism there was, we talked about the covert and the overt racism. And in Michigan, it is covert. I mean, I got called the N word a couple of times, but it was like way up the hill. My dad and I'll never forget it. My dad and I were bike riding and we just hear N word, somebody yelled it out of the window and just kept riding. And it was way far away that we just heard it in a distance. But I didn't experience covert rebel t-shirts until I moved to Mississippi.
Right.
But, just the different experiences of being left out or being judged because of the color of my skin, I can't say that I've experienced that. However, with my background and the way that I was raised, my parents always told me, look, nobody is better than you, but you are better than nobody either. And so don't let anybody tell you anything any different. But they did teach me, however, that there are some people that no matter what I accomplish, no matter how many millions I have or how many degrees I have, I will always be inferior to some people in their minds, but to never adopt their concept of who they think I am or box me into what they think I should be. The sky's the limit because of my faith. And my parents instilled faith in God, in me, and with God, all things are possible. And I believe that, and I take that wherever I go, and I don't let anybody box me in because I know that I can do anything in him.
Yeah, I mean, everything is from inside. And the fact that you had
Yes.
parents who instilled that in you made life easier for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely made it
And
easier.
they taught me my history, teach people what the history is so that they can know what the future will look like. And, teach the history so that people can know where they came from. We came from a great people who were royalty, and they were superior in architecture and in many areas. And I'm not discounting the achievements of other races, but I am a proud Black woman because we have achieved many things, as have other people achieved many things. So nobody should say, well, we're better than you because we did this and we did that. We all are God's creation, doing great things, trying to make a difference in the world. And that should be our purpose.
Yeah, and we're starting to see the history books starting to reflect more of Black history, women's history, not just making it white man's history.
Right,
So
right.
again, we move the needle. That's my favorite.
Yes,
Just
progress is
move
always a good
the
thing.
needle.
Yeah, even if it's a little progress, just let's have some progress.
Yeah.
I
So
remember.
so wasn't there? I'm sorry, you were going to say you
No, I
remember?
was just gonna say I remember like in my history classes of old, there was like one page, and then the African Americans were slaves, and then that was it. Just
Right.
like, okay, great, But I learned what I needed to know from my parents. They made sure that I knew the full history.
Yeah. No, and that's I'm happy to see that that's happening. And again, it's state by state, so it's going
Yeah,
to take whatever time it takes.
yeah.
But growing up in Michigan, so you lived in Flint and then you moved to Detroit, and Detroit is well known for having like race riots. You know what I mean? So what was that experience like?
Well, because I was in Kentucky quite a bit of my early adulthood, when I went back home for the holidays or to visit mom for the summers, it wasn't the race riots were not a part of my experience per se. That was a long time before my time.
Good.
So I did not experience those, but as my mom kind of evolved in Detroit as the new kid on the block. She's a vocal music instructor, retired now. But it's interesting. In Flint, I called my choir director Dad. He was at the art school. He was a Caucasian man. Actually, his background was German. And when my mom first got on the scene in the Flint school district, they kind of looked at her and said, well, she won't do very well. She's African American, and what does she know about music and how to make these kids perform?
What does she know about music? Like that, Black people created music.
yeah. What does she know about me? Yeah.
Did you ever hear of jazz and blues?
Right. Hello. So, of course, she showed her behind, and she's never been one of those who's vocal. I got to tell people who I am. She just shows you who she is. And she performed well. Her students got one superior ratings when they went to the state festivals and all that jazz. So when she moved to Detroit, she was thinking, okay, well, I'm 40. I'm going to just kind of go to work and come home. And her career just skyrocketed there. And she wound up taking the kids. They sang at Carnegie Hall. They sang at Lincoln Center. They sang in Africa. They sang in Italy. I mean, just all over the world, all over the country. And they're still doing great things. And they're still in touch with her because she's mom. She's everybody's mom. But when she moved to Detroit, it was just a matter of learning the history, and some of her friends, some of her colleagues had been through the riots, and they did experience that. And they talked about how much of a scary time it was and what they did to protect themselves, and, just hoping that it didn't happen again, because Detroit can be pretty volatile. And so it's just a matter of striking a match and something will happen.
Right.
Even now. So I'm, really praying about this whole George Floyd thing, because I'm like,
too.
okay,
Me too. Today is, as we're having this conversation, the jury has the case in terms of George Floyd and whether he, how the officer is going to be held accountable. Right. So it's one of those things that everybody has their eye on, and everybody's bracing for what, no matter which way it goes. And it's like, I've been alive a little longer than you have, and it is like reliving things from, like, your mom was talking about. It's again, because we never get to a place where there's agreement and compassion and understanding.
Yes.
There's always factions that are gonna hold on to that white thing as long as they can. Right. Oh, the brown people are coming. Let's really lock down and hunker down. And and I really do believe that it's those people, they're getting smaller and smaller, but they're very loud right now.
Yes.
And they're very active, and it's a scary time. And honestly, as a person of color, have you seen yourself any differences in the way people are now, and the way you're treated, and with all of this elevated and heightened concern? What are you seeing in terms of your own life?
I have just seen, maybe I'm paranoid, but the whole mask thing was a big thing. And it made factions, and it divided people. There were the people that were the Trumplicans, excuse my phrasing, but they were the Trumplicans. I'm not wearing a mask. That's let it kill the Black people. I don't care. And when I wear my mask, because I still wear it, I am fully vaccinated, but I still wear a mask because I want to protect other people and protect myself. But when I'm wearing it, and in Mississippi, the mask mandate, even though I did contact the governor, I emailed him and said, it's too soon. But our cases are very low here, but I still wear the mask. And when I'm wearing it, I'll get the looks like, oh, she's got one of those. Oh, she's one of those. I'm not anything political. It's about health. We probably should have worn masks all along, especially with the smoking thing that's been going on with people.
I know. So are you seeing it across racial lines, whether people wear masks or not?
I am. Yeah, I am here. But in Michigan, when I go to see my mom in Detroit, I'm seeing people that look like me that are not wearing them either. So it's, it depends on the demographic, but I know in my mind that there is a thought process for every individual. And some people that do not look like me are rebelling, and they're doing it on purpose. And then people that have decided that, oh, there's nothing out there. My dad died to COVID in October. So it's very, it's a very real
Oh
disease.
my, I'm so
I
sorry.
didn't think he heard me. Yeah, I'm not gonna cry because I know that he's still with me every day in my heart. But it was very tough to lose my dad in October to COVID-19, and to know that I couldn't even be there with him when he passed away. He died alone, but it was just a matter of I'm ready to go, because the nurse said that she was looking at his EKG machine and she turned around and he was gone. And I talked to him that day on the phone, duo, and I just saw him. I didn't think he wanted me to see him in that condition, but I was able to tell him, I love you, Dad, and, said my goodbyes. But I just, it's a very real disease. It's a fatal disease, and it's not fatal for everyone, but you don't know who it's fatal for and who it's not. We're still discovering things about it every day. But that's one of the things that I see, and I get the looks, who is she? Who does she think she is? I think I'm Charlotte Terrell, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Exactly. I am Charlotte freaking Terrell.
That's right. That's right. That's
totally freaking awesome.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And so in Mississippi, I do kind of get those looks, and having been coaching and having opportunities to speak or to do therapy with groups and individuals, I've had the look, but for some reason I'm able to make people at ease because I have a sense of humor, and I don't take everything seriously, but I try to get the point across and let them know with confidence and unapologetically that I'm going to do what I'm here to do. I'm going to say what God sent me. I'm going to do what God sent me to do. And then if you like it, if you don't, that's fine. I'm out. I'm out of here.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't have to love me, but
yeah.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Trish, I do not wear an all Black Lives Matter T-shirt or an All Lives Matter T-shirt, but I do believe that Black lives matter, and I don't believe that other people's lives don't matter. I believe that all lives do matter, but the concept of Black Lives Matter is not, well, we matter and nobody else does. No, we matter and we haven't mattered. So that's what the message is trying to convey. It's not that nobody else matters. It's just that other people's plight has not been quite the same. And so we're using our voice to say, hey, we're over here too, and we matter. So it's not to slight anyone else. It's just to make other people recognize that we are as important. We've played an integral part of building this country, just like everybody else.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because here's one of the things that I run into with Black Lives Matter is, I agree, people will say, I agree that Black Lives Matter and the focus needs to be on that right now because they have not mattered for the last 400 years. However, I can't use that phrase and I won't use that hashtag because I don't agree with the organization's principles. Black Lives Matter. Like, the biggest thing is the defund. People don't understand the defunding the police doesn't mean defunding the police. It means taking some of those funds and putting them into other ways to support the community, like with healthcare workers, when somebody's in a domestic situation that along with the police person is a person who knows how to deal with mental health. Like, that's what they're talking about. Yes. But I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And, I almost don't know what to say about that. It's like you can't separate the two.
Right.
It's like the oppressor telling the oppressed how to fix the problem.
Right. Right.
So you can't. So I appreciate you saying that about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. And I think it's just important for us because we do it. We're guilty. We do it as women. We do it. We look at people and we just make assumptions about who they are and what they're about and what they can't do or what they shouldn't have. But I think that with compassion, because I told you earlier about my area of expertise, coping, communication, and confidence, and I've recently added compassion, my 4 C's actually. And with compassion, it means to really care about other people, get to know them, and don't just ask 50 million questions about my Black experience, but watch
Right.
and observe and learn from just being around and embracing our differences. It's okay that we're different. I hate when people say I don't see color. I do. I see all kinds of beautiful colors. But God created us all to be
Yeah,
different
totally.
and to embrace those things, not
Exactly.
to repel those things. And so don't
Yeah.
just look at somebody and say, oh, she's Black, so she's this, or oh, she's white, so she thinks this. Don't just look at people and assume anything. Look at them with your heart instead of with your eyes, and try to get to know them and know what they're passionate about and learn how your passions align. And that's how we're going to make this world a better place. And that's what my whole objective to having these conversations is, to align our visions and our passions, because sometimes we're singing the same song.
Yeah, most of the time we are. Most of the time.
Right.
That's the perfect cherry on top of our conversation,
Yes.
is
I think
looking at
so.
individuals and seeing what our commonalities are instead of
Yes.
what our differences are.
Right. Right.
Really. Charlotte, I thank you so much for being with me today and for
Thank
sharing
you.
your experience. Anything else you want to say before we close out for today?
No, like you said, I think I've already put the cherry on top, but
You sure have.
embracing each other's individuals' differences and seeing the commonalities and just coming together and learning from each other instead of deciding that we're going to turn against a sect of people because they don't look like us or they don't think like us. That's,
Exactly.
you expand your mind by learning from other people.
Yes, totally. My good friend Lawana Bradford said, invite your Black friend to dinner. Like, have
Yes.
them come over your house.
Right.
You know, that's how you
Yeah,
get to know people.
exactly. And
It's
let them bring a dish so you can enjoy the food.
exactly. Well, as soon as I can, I'm going to come and enjoy your husband's
You
food.
should. You
That's
should. And we
amazing.
can go to the beach and hang out.
That'd be
Please.
great.
Come, girl.
That'd be great. Charlotte,
Yes.
thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Everybody, be on the lookout for Charlotte's new book that's coming out soon.
Yes.
Smile, Don't Frown, and
Yes.
learn about the experience of Black women. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
My call to action for everybody watching here is continue the conversation.
Yes.
It's only when we talk to each other and when we who have been socialized white with our peach skin have these conversations among ourselves, can we come to a realization that we all want love, we all want to be heard, and we all want the same things.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Charlotte. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to share the broadcast. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you again.
Thank you.